Hi, welcome to this tutorial on dodge and burn using curves. I'm Sally Gainsford from Studio Masters, and today we're going to work through a professional headshot that I photographed of John King a few years ago. Dodging and burning is one of the most powerful techniques in portrait retouching. It allows us to add dimension, shape and polish to an image by selectively lightening and darkening specific areas. When done well, it's completely invisible, but the impact on the final image is dramatic. We're going to use curves layers to achieve this, which gives us incredible control and keeps everything on a non-destructive format. By the end of this tutorial, you'll understand exactly how to use this technique to transform your own portraits. So let's get started. We're going to start by setting up our dodge layer, which is the layer we use to lighten specific areas of the portrait. Go down to your adjustment layers at the bottom of the layers panel and select a curve, which gives us precise control over tones in our image. First, let's rename the layer so we stay organised. Double-click on the layer name and change it to Dodge. This keeps everything clear, especially when we add multiple layers. Now in the Curves dialog, we're going to lift the centre of the line upwards to create a soft curve. Click in the middle of the diagonal line and drag it up until the output value reads around 150. This brightens the midtones across the entire image. Obviously, we don't want the entire image to be brightened, we only want to lighten specific areas. So we need to hide this adjustment and then paint it in selectively where we want it. To do this, we invert the mask. Click on the layer mask thumbnail to make sure it's selected, then we'll press Command-I on a Mac or Control-I on Windows. The mask turns it black, hiding the dodge effect completely. Now we're ready to paint in the lighting effect exactly where we want it using the white brush on the black mask. Now we're going to create our burn layer, which is a layer we use to darken specific areas of the portrait. Go down again to your adjustment layers at the bottom of the layers panel and select curves again. This creates another curves adjustment layer. Let's rename this layer to keep everything organised. Double-click on the layer name and change it to Burn. This time, in the Curves dialog, we're going to pull the centre of the line downwards to create a soft curve. Click in the middle of the diagonal line and drag it down until the input value reads 150. This darkens the midtones across the entire image. Again, we don't want the entire image darkened, we only want to darken specific areas, so we need to hide this adjustment and then paint it in selectively where we want it. Invert the mask by clicking on the layer mask thumbnail to make sure it's selected, then press Command-I on a Mac or Control-I on Windows. The mask then turns black, hiding the burn effect completely. Now we're ready to paint the darkening effect exactly where we want it, using the white brush on a black mask. Now we can start using our curves layer on the image. Let's begin with the dodge layer to brighten and enhance the facial structure. Select the dodge layer and make sure the layer mask is active. Choose your brush tool and set your foreground colour to white. Now on the main Photoshop panel, we're going to keep the opacity at 100%, but on the brush settings we're going to set the flow to 1%. This might seem extremely low, but it's the best way to use dodge and burn. We build it up gradually, stroke by stroke, to keep everything looking completely natural. There are AI software tools now that can do this with quick sliders, but sometimes it never actually looks realistic. The results can be obvious if they're heavy-handed. To be a master photographer or to excel at what we do, we need to be able to make the image look like nothing has been done to it at all. The viewer should see a beautiful, polished portrait, not retouching. Dodging is used to brighten certain areas of the facial structure that may appear dented in, show signs of tiredness, or have been emphasised by the way the strobe lights have hit the face. Studio lighting picks up on so much of the facial features. Slight indents, hollows and shadows that we don't normally notice become very pronounced under professional lighting. We need to fill out these areas, if you like, to freshen the face while keeping everything looking natural and believable. The truth is, most people don't see these elements when they look in the mirror. These really intelligent modern cameras pick up so much texture, every line, every shadow, every slight imperfection. We don't see this level of detail in real life when we look at ourselves or when we look at somebody else in person. So what we're doing with dodging is showing our subjects how they look to the eye, how they think they look, rather than a hyper-detailed version that the camera captures. We're bringing the image back to a more natural, flattering representation that feels true to life. So how do we go from this to this using Dodge and Burn? So let's walk you through the process of Dodge and Burn and why we use it. So let's go to Dodge, grab our brush, and let's come in and have a look at John. So you can see we've got little tired eyes, little bits of indentation, and under here as well we can brighten up the eyes. Also we've got a few hot spots up here that we just need to balance out. So generally we just need to balance the skin tones out. We need to tone down the hood here, and we also need to thicken up the hairline. So all that we can do with Dodge and Burn within Curves. It's really easy and such fun to learn. So let's grab our Dodge with our brush, so Command B, and first off we're going to start off with the size brush exactly the same as the area that we're working on. So what I'm doing is I'm just plumping up the skin basically, and just bringing up those dark areas, and just keep working it at 1%, and your eye will adjust over time. You will get to see it as you're working on it, because it's a very slight adjustment. And here as well, you see we've got this dark spot here, so at 1% let's just keep lifting it and taking my brush off and having another go. Here we go. That looks wicked. So we've got dark spots in here. So these little spaces and little nooks and crannies that we've got that we're working on. Try not to go over the highlighty bits because they will really pop. So just keep working on those little areas that need lifting. And just here as well, we'll just lighten that down there. So the other side, this will lift quicker because it's got much more modelling on this side of the face than the other side of the face. So we've got a real line here. So we'll just lift that as well. And let's just work on leveling out this highlight here. Just bring it around the nose a little bit more. We've got a little indent here on his nose. So we'll just lift that too. That looks good. So I tend to use Dodge on the bottom of the eye, on the waterline. It helps you focus on the eye because that's where you want to look, especially on view shots like this, headshots. So we can use it to lift the eye colour too, just to give it a bit of a pop. And over this side too. Now just be careful not to actually bring up the catch lights. Okay, so we've got little shadowy areas here, little indents on the skin that we're just going to lift. And little frown lines. All these little things we can lift. And we've got a little area of red here that we're going to lift as well. Let's work under that eye a little bit more. That looks so much better. Right, okay, we can also use it just to make the lips a little bit fuller. So let's come over the top of the lips like that. Let's lift the whiskers on this side. And again. So this bit here, just going to lighten a little bit more where it's a bit red. Okay, let's come over to our burn, and this time we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to bring down these highlights gently because we don't want them to go muddy and black. That's why we work on a real low percentage, like 1. And just build it slowly. So as you take your pen off or your mouse, you are literally going another 1%. So I'm not working on those lines because obviously if I work on those lines, it's going to make them look even heavier. Although I will work on this scar a little bit and bring that and darken that a little bit. So over the eyebrow, you can just darken that a little bit there. So we just got a little bit here. And down here as well, so we've got a little bit of bright skin there that we'll just take down a bit. And this side of there, here. So all the time we're just using it to balance out the skin. Just a little bit there. We've got a little light bit there too. So we want to take it down so it all kind of matches. Now here I don't think will work as much because that's a bit of a pigmentation in the skin there. And that just went a bit dark there, so I'm going to Control or Command Z and take that out. And we can also use this as just to darken the pupils around the wall of the eye too. So let's come back out, view, fit on screen. Now we can also use burn to actually thicken up hairlines. If you see, sometimes hairdressers put on adverts and you see that they're using spray in the hair, and what it does is just thickens up the hairline. So we're doing exactly the same with burn, just actually building it up, which works great. Now I just want to take down the highlights on this cape, but we don't want it overtaking the rest of the image. We just want it to be there and be subtle because it's all about John, it's all about his face, and it's all about his eyes. It's all about making him look even more handsome than what he is, if that's possible. Okay. So any highlights we've toned down. I think we can still do with a little bit over that eyebrow there. John's got very, very fair eyebrows. So I think that's looking a little bit more balanced than what it was. Obviously at 100%, it looks a little flat and looks like it has taken some life out of the image. So if we start reducing it to maybe about 80 to 85, we can see those little bits start creeping back within the image. Now let's turn it on and off. And although it's subtle, it really does make a difference. So let's come in a bit closer so you can get a close-up view of that gorgeous face. So you can see how well that's balanced it out. It looks awesome, and the cape too. And don't forget as well, sometimes people with low brows, we get it with females as well, when they've got low brows, it's difficult to get the light underneath. Now if our key light's coming from the side and he's looking straight on me, sometimes it will be difficult because one side of the face is going to be really shaded. So dodge and burn is really good for that. And what you would do, if we just grab a brush again, is just do a little stroke underneath the eye to just lift it where the light can't get to. At 1%, it does make a difference. So there you go. That's Dodge and Burn on John, and I think it looks absolutely awesome.